you by profession, you are a specialized anesthetist. So gassing people and putting people to sleep is what you started out doing, right?
Yep.
Now, you haven't always been interested in nutrition. Is that correct?
Yeah, definitely. Very skeptical, in fact, 30 odd years ago, when I was first kind of put into contact through Pat, my wife.
Mm-hmm.
I was very skeptical about nutritional supplementation. And I often ask, and there might well be other doctors on this call right now, how much nutritional information did they receive at medical school? Because I don't remember much at all. I know it was a long time ago, but
And
even
so
the young guys.
And so what changed you from being skeptical, as many doctors are, and understand, that's medicine, which is very important, but we're looking at preventative. What changed it for you?
Yeah, a couple of things. One was that I started seeing some of the things that Pat was bringing back, information, started seeing in medical journals, and that piqued my interest.
Mm-hmm.
But around about the same time, I actually picked up hepatitis. As an anesthetist, we stick people with needles, and sometimes we stick ourselves with the same one. And I was unwell, very unwell. And Pat insisted that I take a whole bunch of stuff. And I could feel the difference. So that helped me to take that step of, okay, don't know why this works. I haven't seen any science that says it works, and I certainly wasn't taught that at medical school, but I feel the difference. So that was what changed my mind. And then I think the big thing with NeoLife specifically is that it has such a good, long history of research and development. And the backup of that science that you're talking about, based in nature, but backed by that science. That helped to convince me more and more about just the fact that nutritional supplementation can make a difference. It's not a treatment, but it makes a difference to good health.
And that was how many years ago, Barry?
30 odd
years ago. And so it made such an impact on your life that you transitioned from being an anesthetist to focusing full-time in NeoLife and nutrition, right?
Yeah. I mean, obviously, it was a period of time, for 4 or 5 years that happened. But it got to the point where, yes, it was definitely, I was fully convinced by that stage about the benefits of nutritional supplementation and that we had an excellent product. But obviously, on the business side, that was it was very definitely something that I could say about my anesthetics. This will cover anything that I might have. We have 3 daughters, and all the benefits that they've had over the many, many years. It's been.
So you're very similar to me. So your grandchildren are 3rd generation on NeoLife nutrition. Is that right?
That's it.
Yeah. My children are 3rd generation on these products, which is quite incredible. Yeah. And I think personally, if I look at my family, one of the greatest things NeoLife has given us is generations of magnificent health. And what we know is that our bodies are designed to live with health and vitality and energy. And when we have these components in our life, everything we do is more effective. We can serve our family more effectively, our career, our church, our community more effectively when we are living with health and vitality. And we have to take responsibility and give our bodies what they need. And so I just think that's why you're perfect to talk to us tonight, Dr. Bland. I've known you for many years, and I've watched you. I've grown up watching you, not only with this enormous passion for nutrition, but I've watched you passionately empower people and change people's lives through good whole food nutrition and just information, which I so appreciate, because as a doctor, you freely give your knowledge and your information to us, as you are tonight. And yeah, and you have this magnificent way of communicating what can often be a confusing topic where there's a lot of hype, there's a lot of confusion, there's a lot of misinformation, and you just whittle it down so people like me can understand it. So Barry, welcome to the call. It's good to have you with us. Let's talk about men's nutrition. Take it away.
Okay, thanks, Andrew. Yeah, I think, you know, when we talk about men's health, this is not there's no quick fix. Nutrition is something that is a lifestyle change, and that goes with diet, it goes with exercise, it goes with stress management, it goes with all of those things that in fact create, in a way, ill health. And if we can deal with those things, we can certainly make a difference for ourselves. And what I really enjoy is, as you mentioned, the generational issues where we can educate our kids and they then educate their kids from birth. Now there's a deal where you can have a whole period of time. I mean, we're talking men's health, and obviously we are not that much different from women, apart from a few very specific things. And I was going to ask what is the audience this evening, but if I say anything that offends, please take it from whence it comes, from a medical direction. But, you know, I think diet is one of the things that is constantly being researched and found that there are things that we are doing on an ongoing basis in our diets that are not good for us. And the World Health Organization, all of the heart associations, diabetic associations, any of the major organizations that look at ill health will all have an area of contact through diet. And that is where I believe supplementation comes in. We still need to make sure we're eating the right sorts of foods, but supplementation makes sure that we are not short of those things that overall are potentially deficient. And then obviously with our supplementation, we can make sure that we're not suffering those. So if you look at men particularly, obviously they have certainly on the cardiovascular side, issues with their heart and blood vessels that are different to women at different times in their lifespan. In other words, heart and those sorts of high blood pressure tend to affect men earlier. So if you're going to have a heart attack at a younger age, you'll probably be a male. The ladies catch up later in life. Things like stroke, again, are issues that are our men's problems. There are things like the prostate, erectile dysfunction, even muscle. You know, men are concerned about the fact that they need to be strong and should be. But as we get older, we tend to lose that muscle. And it's important that we concentrate on maintaining it for all sorts of reasons. Bone, eyes, all sorts of things we should be looking to benefit ourselves and to maintain our good health. And as I say, that's a lifestyle change. It's an ongoing thing that we should be looking at. So let me just state, as I always do, is there are two things I believe are foundational that set the foundation for good nutrition. The one is a multivitamin, and that is the Formula 4 Plus, and the other is protein. If you put those two together as a foundation, you are covering so many of the gaps that we have in our dietary makeup in whatever food that we are taking. But the long-term issues, when you come to heart, is heart attack, obviously, and that is produced by a whole range of things, one of which is now turning out to be COVID-19 because of its effect on the cardiovascular system. But as mostly we're going to be talking about cholesterol there and homocysteine potentially as a means of creating damage. And if we can protect ourselves, and this was one of the areas of research that I saw very first in the New England Journal of Medicine, talking about omega-3 and the benefits of that in helping to raise HDLs, which are the good cholesterol levels, and helping to control, in a way, the LDLs and triglycerides. Now, if we can continue to do that in a lifetime, having the amounts of fish in our diet, but it's obviously easy to have a tablet or a capsule of omega-3. You know, our omega-3 is unusual. It's unusual because it contains all 8 members of the family of omega-3s. And in so doing, provides us with a pure source of those 8 members that protect us. And so omega-3 will help as far as our heart is concerned, long term. So the earlier that you can start that, the better. And, you know, that is a real big time to make sure that we consistently are getting enough of that. It will, as I say, help to change risk factors as far as cholesterol is concerned. The other things like homocysteine, our lipotropic adjunct, is brilliant in helping to control your homocysteine levels, and therefore protect against a whole range of things that are vascular, but also cardiac. And in so doing, if you improve good blood supply, you improve your brain. The way that we look at the degenerative diseases like Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, they are ongoing, and they don't start at the age of 60 or 70 or whatever. They have started as a youngster, and it's a deterioration over time that just culminates those effects. So it's not a matter of, oops, I've been diagnosed, let me try and start to fix it. It's, let me prevent it, and I will be better that way. And again,
I think that's such an important point for. Sorry, I think that's such an important point for young guys on the call. It's the preventative thing, you know, and we might talk cardiovascular, we might talk Alzheimer's, we might talk all these things, and you know, I talk to a lot of young people, and I say young 20s, 30s, 40s, and they're completely off the radar, and I think it's irrelevant, but these things start back then. And it's the small little changes you make consistently now that will prevent them later on. And the prevention is far cheaper and safer than cure any day of the week.
And I'm very happy that I've been involved for this length of time, but there was still that first 35 years where I was not looking after that side of things.
Yeah.
So I'm happy that my sons-in-law have been on good nutrition for 20, 25 years.
Yeah.
And they have had the benefit of that. But now their sons, they've been on it from prior to conception. And that makes a big difference. So, and their health is improved. And, all the things that go with good health. I've always said, I know I'm going to die, but when I die, I want to be well. And I don't know when that will be, but I don't want to be in a situation where things are just going slowly downhill. So yeah, it's important. And the thing is, things like erectile dysfunction and prostate function and those sorts of things, which are very particular to men, that is as a result of good blood supply. If you maintain good blood supply throughout the body, part of that is in those areas. And so you need to maintain that. So things like the omega, I haven't spoken about the carotenoids and the zinc particularly, all benefits for all sorts of things. But if you talking specifics, then the prostate is one of those. Obviously, the prostate, in men, it's an issue that is not an issue until it is, and then it's a big one. And it can be obviously benign hypertrophy of the prostate, which creates its own physical problems of poor urine stream and that sort of thing, all the way through to cancer. And the thing is, if we can maintain the good health of our cancers, of our tissues, we can help to prevent those cancers. And when you see the route of treatment for cancers these days, along the lines of supporting your own immune system to attack those cancers and triggering your immune system to attack those cancers, that is where things like the carotenoids, which will assist in strengthening the immune system to do its job. And that's cancers throughout. I mean, here we're talking about prostate, but it's if your immune system is really doing its job, to a large extent, it'll be great and able to dig out those cancerous cells and before they become a problem. And if we can do that in lungs and prostate and bone and everywhere. So yes, important. So those are aspects that we can add to it. I don't know, and I certainly haven't seen anything, so this is just a by the by. But the Allo Plus appears to have some effect, certainly as far as prostate and erectile dysfunction is concerned. But I mean, that's that, as I say, I certainly haven't come across any research indicating that. But the other aspect of men's good health is definitely exercise, because the thing is, if you are exercising and having your blood flow quicker, just imagine this. It's like as your heart rate goes up, the blood flows faster, obviously, and it means it runs through the pipes quicker and it clears things out quicker. So you know for yourself, if you go and have a period of exercise in the morning, you actually come back feeling wide awake, because all of those, for a want of a word picture, those cobwebs have been blown out of your brain, and you are now functioning better. Your brain is receiving its supply, and that goes all the way down to what is your blood supply like. So all of these things are important to marry together. It's not a single thing. It's not, oops, I've got a cholesterol problem, let me take my omega. It's make sure that that my immune system is functioning well, that it can handle the sort of things that are going to happen. All of that is is part of it. I just all of our things come in tablet and pill form, but they're not a treatment. They're food, and as such, it really does mean a lifestyle change and a dietary change, and just factor in the supplementation as part of your ongoing standard good health. I'm often asked, well, how long should I take it for? And my standard answer is, when you stop eating, you can stop taking it. So, for men particularly, as far as muscle is concerned, as I was starting to talk about, it's important that you get the sort of protein that helps to prevent muscle loss and promote muscle gain. Now, for the younger guys, you're talking about muscle gain, and that works. You get a good protein supplement like the sports shake, or in fact the NeoLife shake, or the NutriShake. You're getting the protein. That's the important bit. And as you get older, it's important to make sure that you're getting certain of those amino acids every day to help reduce the muscle loss that happens as a natural effect of aging. Now, if you can do that, you stay stronger. If you stay stronger, you're less likely to stumble. If you are less likely to stumble, you're less likely to break bones. Yeah. Men become osteoporotic as well. We also go through the menopause. It just takes 10 or 15 years to do it for men. And in the process, we become osteoporotic, and so are as likely to break bones if we stumble as the ladies. So we need to protect ourselves again with things like the CalMag. And of course, the CalMag with its vitamin D is brilliant for all sorts of things. I was just reading today the benefits of vitamin D in your immune system. I mean, it's not something that you even often think about as far as vitamin D being involved in your immune system. But it helps as far as lungs are concerned. And of course, again, with the respiratory diseases that are on the go at the moment, we want to be as strong as we possibly can be. And that is where a wide, broad spectrum of good nutritional supplementation makes the difference. Things like eyes. Our eyes, well, here I am wearing glasses. It's part of an aging aspect. But this is easy to correct. It's if the macula at the back of the eye starts running into trouble. And that is where things like the lutein and the zeaxanthin, which are in the carotenoids, and also, for instance, in the beta-guard, which are vital for helping to delay and slow down that age-related macular degeneration. That ultimately ends in effective blindness, in that you can't read, you can't perceive fine detail. So, as far as all of these things affect the whole population, but obviously as men, we want to maintain our computers. We want to maintain our eyes. We want to maintain our cardiovascular system. We want to maintain our strength. We want to maintain the fact that our prostates are healthy and all of our sexual function is working. It's something that we can do something about. I think that's the interesting aspect of it, is that it is not something you throw your hands up and say, well, there's nothing I can do about this. You can check your diet. You can increase your exercise. You can look at your stress levels, because you can change that. And you can make sure that as far as your diet is concerned, you're plugging those nutritional gaps with a broad spectrum range of nutrients. And I mean, I've spoken bits and pieces about a whole range of different products here. But if you hear what I've said, it's the Formula 4 Plus, carotenoids, omega, protein, any of the shakes. Add the other things as you need them. But it just makes so much sense. And I said to my daughters and my 8 grandkids, with this very unusual, once in a lifetime disease that is running around the world, you do your best to avoid it, but almost certainly we will come in contact with it. And in order to be able to have the best chance of maintaining your good health, you maintain your own immune system. And in my mind, those things that I've just specified make a huge difference. I would always add the extra C and the extra zinc. But, for new people, I know I've probably spoken about a whole range of different products that you might be unsure of. Just speak to the person who invited you to have a listen to this, and find out more about it. But my conviction is that if we can make a difference for our own good health, ongoing right now, but also in the years and generations to come. And I just want my grandkids to be as well as they possibly can be. For me to be around to play with my great grandkids.
I think that is for me is, you touched on this, is we're all going to die at some point. That's not something that we can control, but what we can control is how well we are while we are living. And I have this goal that I'm going to be surfing and playing golf and riding bikes with my grandkids one day. But that journey doesn't start in 10 or 15 years from now. It starts today. This is a process. And another thing you touched on is, never is our message, eat junk, don't exercise, take up products, you're going to be okay. Anybody who is giving you that message, that is an incorrect message. Our message is, eat as well as you can. Become intentional about what you eat. Get some exercise. But we know that your modern day lifestyle, we know that through modern day food processing, your diets are deficient in critical nutrients. And if your diets are deficient in those nutrients for long enough, you're going to run into these challenges that Barry has been speaking about. And so we all need to find a way to plug our dietary gaps with good whole food nutrition. And I just want to share a slide with you real quick. Barry, you don't mind, do you?
Oh, no.
And so hang on there and please chip in. Okay, so you're there. Okay, so this is for the new people on the call. Just something quite interesting that came out in 2019 from one of the leading health agencies in the USA. And their statement was that a bad diet is 3 times more dangerous than smoking. Get that. Now, smoking is killing about 5 billion people a year, 5 million people a year. A bad diet is killing about 15 million people a year. Okay. And they're saying that it's not only the bad things like the sugars and the synthetics that we're getting in our diets, it's mainly because of the lack of good things we're getting in our diet. And the 3 biggest factors they put it down to was, number 1, a lack of whole grain oils, number 2, a lack of fruits and vegetables, and number 3, a lack of omega-3s. And so just for the benefits of the new people, I just want to run through this in a couple of minutes, is your whole grain oils. We know your diet is deficient in that. If you don't know why, speak to the person who got you onto this call. They'll be able to give you the true and end story. But NeoLife is the only company on the planet that produces a pure whole grain oil supplement that gets your cells working correctly. And once you get that base or the food triangle correct, so many positive things happen. In fact, TreeNN, to make this little bottle here, we use 58 kilograms of raw organic grain foods that go into every bottle. And it will improve your nutrient utilization efficiency from the food you eat by over 50%. So if you're trying to eat healthier so that your body can get the nutrition, make sure you're taking TreeNN, because that is going to improve your nutrient intake and utilization. The next thing is fruits and vegetables. And the latest science is saying if you are not eating 12 to 14 portions of fruits and vegetables a day, you are in trouble. Now, I don't eat that. I don't know anybody who does. And so NeoLife has a product which Barry mentioned, is carotenoid complex. It's a pure fruits and vegetable supplement. To make every bottle, we use 115 kilograms of raw organic fruits and vegetables. We source the strawberries in California. The tomatoes come from Portugal. The carrots come from France. The spinach comes from Spain. And so this is a complete antioxidant or carotenoid product. And one of the questions that popped up online was, how do I prevent cancer? Now, we can't give any guarantees, and we don't. That would just not be right. But what your body does need is your body needs these antioxidants and these carotenoids, because these are the nutrients that protect your body from those chronic disease such as cancer. And this little product here will boost your immunity by 37% in 20 days. And if you are, nothing cures COVID-19, that's for sure, but your immunity is your first line of defense, as Barry mentioned. And so, you might come in contact with it, and you want your immunity to be fighting fit, because that's going to give you a best chance. Then the third product is protein. As Barry mentioned, the first thing he mentioned is we all need a good multivitamin and good protein. And the fourth and final thing is an omega-3. And omega-3 is just the great all-rounder. And for your heart, for your brain, if you want to remember where you left your car keys, make sure you're taking omega-3. For your joints, men, if you love your prostate, make sure you're taking omega-3. And for your omega-3 is the greatest anti-inflammatory. And so these are the four core things that Barry spoke about. And there's a lot of questions coming in saying, what do I take for stress? What do I take for mental health? What do I take for if I want to prevent cancer? What do I take for energy? This is what you take. Okay, this is to get the basics right. And when you get your food triangle right, all the things fall into place. And then you can look at adding the other vitamin Bs, the other things on there if necessary. And this all comes down to a product called Pro Vitality. And for the new people on the call, this is where it starts. I believe that this world would most certainly be a healthier and a happier place if every person just got themselves onto a box of Pro Vitality. In this box of Pro Vitality, there are 30 sachets, and in every sachet, there are 4 vitamins. The first one is your TreeNN, which is your whole grain oils, okay, the bottom end of the food triangle. The second one is your carotenoid complex. This is your fruits and vegetable. The third one is your omega-3. And then the fourth one is a multivitamin. And so all these components come in one sachet, and then add a protein to that. And that is what we call the breakfast pack, because it basically covers everything that you need. And it's just a fantastic place to start. And so I know there is so much hype. I know there is so much confusion. I know there's so much misinformation in this nutrition supplement world. The question is, should we be taking nutrition? And in my biased opinion, that answer is absolutely yes. I don't think there's any question about that. But the next question is, what should I be taking? And we got to understand that not all nutrition has been created equal. And that is where NeoLife comes in. You just take an omega-3. You take an omega-3, we can give you the genetic code of every fish we use. Because when we know the genetic code, we know what that fish has been eating. That gives us a better idea of what part of the ocean it's been swimming in. And we only pick our fish, our tuna, mackerel, salmon, anchovy, from the most unpolluted parts of the ocean. We only use the fillet of that fish, not the organs, not the intestines, not the brain. We only use the fillet, and we cold press it and extract the omega-3 oil. We test that omega-3 oil for over 200 contaminants, for things such as mercury, lead, and a bunch of other things that you don't want to be putting in your body. The industry standards say that a nutrition company needs to be testing for 96 contaminants. And as a company, we're saying, well, what about the other 104 that you do not want? And so sometimes it's not only what's in the product, but it's also what's not in the product. And that is what really differentiates NeoLife. Yes, you can go and buy a million other omega-3s, but you will never get one like NeoLife's. And so it's the only one with all 6 or all 8 omega-3 family members, as Barry mentioned. And so for the guests, I just wanted to mention that because you do need to be taking nutrition, but you want to make sure that you're spending your money on nutrition that is going to do what you need it to do. Do your kids need to be on nutrition? Absolutely. You want to be making sure your kids are taking nutrition that is not filled with sugars or synthetics or refined ingredients. It's good whole food natural nutrition. So Barry, I think we've covered a lot of ground tonight.
Yeah, I just hope that what we've got across is that it's not a treatment, it's not a single thing, and it's for life.
Yeah, and it's for life. Absolutely.
It's not short term.
And Barry, sorry, just one thing while somebody just mentioned, and I'm not going to start answering questions, but I think it's important because you touched on it. The product that is very good for the heart and for blood, lipotropic. And as it's a men's health talk, that is just lipotropic is the name, and it's exceptional.
It is. It is. It changes the homocysteine levels very quickly, literally within 3 days, and you can assist in so many different areas as far as your blood factors are concerned.
Fantastic.
And just one other thing, which I actually didn't talk about joints, but obviously as you get older, your joints start to struggle a little.
Really?
But full motion. Well, I haven't noticed, but others complain to me about. No, but full motion is a very, very effective product as far as those aches and pains in joints. But there is also indication these days that glucosamine is useful for your cardiovascular system as well.
Wow.
So
okay. Good to know.
That's the beauty of whole food nutritional supplementation. There's often the research is pointing you in one direction, but in fact, 4, 5, 10 years later, other information becomes available to say that it is good for other things. Mm-hmm. And that's fascinating, because
that's a kicker.
I look at new research coming out and it says various things nutritionally. That's okay. I'm taking it already.
Fantastic.
Because I'm on a good program. So
just to wrap this up, for the guests or if the distributors are talking to your customers, the Rolls Royce is the Pro Vitality and the shake. Okay, that's what everybody should be taking. But we understand people work on a budget, and that might not fit into somebody's budget. And I'm absolutely okay with that. I understand that. Then you can always scale that down. From the Pro Vitality, you could move down to the Formula 4 and add an omega-3 to that, or maybe just the Tri-N and the Multi, or you can play with it. But we are passionate about making sure we have nutrition for everybody and every budget. So you can figure that one out. So Dr. Bland, I just want to thank you so much for your time. I really believe the information you've shared tonight will make a positive difference. And to everyone on the call, our mission is to make this world a healthier and a happier place. If you know people that would get value from this information, please share this replay that I'll be sending out with them, or make sure that you put them in touch with a NeoLife distributor, because we don't sell our products in retail stores. You cannot get nutrition of our quality direct to the end consumer through a retail store. We get it through people. So I'm going to ask you to join us in our mission and to share this information with people that you believe will benefit from it. But together, we're going to make this world a healthier and happier place. Together, we're going to see the men of Africa living healthy, active lives, because that is where we're going to be most powerful and most effective. So good night to you all. God bless and have a fantastic week. Good night.